It was an average night in the middle of the Canadian winter. It was roughly 40 below. Wind was blowing at about 50 kilometers an hour. Wind chill took it down to about 60 below. Nothing really out of the ordinary. When I went to the fridge and realized that we're out of milk. Well, I had to go pick some up, so I got myself ready. I got my snow pants on, made sure I had a couple layers, my thermal underwear, at least 2 different sweaters, put on my parka, had a heavy balaclava, goggles, scarf, big thick mitts, and then another set of thick mitts on top of that. I strapped on my snowshoes, made sure that the dogs were ready, and I set out to go to the store just a few blocks away. I was making pretty good headway. It was into my 3rd night out when I had to make a igloo because, well, my tent had suffered a massive rent when a 3-meter long icicle dropped off a neighboring tree and plummeted right through it. I was in the middle of making that igloo. It had about half of the heavy blocks of snow in the at least 5-meter deep snow banks cut out in order to stack them all together. And it was good hard packed snow, the kind that's been there for at least 3 years. When I just started succumbing to the exhaustion and I passed out. What follows next was kind of a blur to me. I remember a shuffling figure hurrying up, grabbing me. He had a beast of burden with him, took out a knife, sliced a hole down the middle of that poor animal, and shoved me inside to keep me warm so that I would not freeze to death. He then, I assume he must have finished the shelter and dragged me inside. I must have spent several days, and try as I might, I can't clearly remember his face. All I remember is he wore one of those balaclavas with just the 2 tiny little holes for eyes and a tiny little hole for the mouth. I was in no condition to drag myself out of there, so he loaded up the sleds as soon as the weather lightened up and took me the next few blocks down to the local store, where I fortunately made a full recovery. However, when I finally came to and was fully able to take control of my faculties, I asked the clerk of the store, who was that man who saved me? And that clerk said, "Why, sir, that was Tex." And that's how I met him.